I'll tell you a story about a huge revival that took place in Colombia many years ago. And my old pastor in Birmingham, Chris Hodges, you can look him up online, a great speaker, full of revelation, Pastor Chris Hodges. And I was there when we first planted what's called Church of the Highlands, and now they've got like 30,000 people. In fact, I think they baptized like 9,000 people last Easter, or 10,000 people. So it's been a very powerful group. But I remember Chris Hodges telling the story about when he went to Colombia because there was a revival. So his pastor sent him out there to find out what caused the revival. And when he finally narrowed it down to one guy, it turns out there was a youth pastor, it's my understanding, and him and his youth went on a 40-day water fast. And during that time, they asked the Lord to tell them the name of the principality, the name of the power that was over their region. And the Lord revealed it to them. And once they knew the name and had the faith that they believed that they knew the name of this principality, they could simply ask God to remove it. And he removed it, and suddenly stadiums were getting filled up and people were giving their lives to Jesus in droves. And I remember Chris saying that he was trying to ask this pastor, what programs are you doing? What Bible studies? What wineskin? Are you doing small? Like, how did this? And Chris said that he kept asking this pastor questions, and then the translator would respond. And Chris was wondering if they were even understanding the questions he was asking, because they were responding to him as though they didn't understand his question, until finally he kept asking some of the same questions over and over again. And then the guy got really angry. And one of his final comments was, "You stupid American. If you had won the war in the spirit, you wouldn't be asking the questions that you're asking right now." And so Chris humbled himself and wanted to listen. We have to understand that if we are going to be players who help usher in or help lead and guide this revival that America is in the midst of right now, all across America, revival is taking place. This is why you're seeing the upheaval in government. This is why you're seeing the exposing of people who are in positions of power and authority. This is why we're seeing craziness all over the news. You want to know why? It's because there is a revival that has been stirred by those of us who are praying, those of us who are fasting, those of us who are living holy, reading our Bibles, those of us who have learned to live a lifestyle of repentance. There's a remnant in America that has ushered in a revival that we are in the midst of right now. And if you want to be a leader in it, if you want to get the most out of it, if you want to be somebody that helps the revival rather than hinders the revival, you have to understand that the picture, the war, is bigger than this thing that you call your local church. I'm all for people gathering with a group of believers regularly on whatever day Sundays, call it Sunday, call it Saturday, whatever day they do. There's nothing wrong with people gathering together. But when our vision becomes so narrow that we don't understand that God's vision is corporate, that God has a vision for a city, a county, a state, a nation, the earth, if we're so narrowly thinking about what we call today, these days, our church, people are going to miss it. And we will disciple people to be good church members. We will disciple people in a way that benefits our little thing here, our little corporation, our little ministry, as opposed to seeing what the real need is for how to disciple folks. I'm telling you, if you haven't learned how to pray, if you don't have a lifestyle of fasting, if you're not reading the Bible consistently, regularly, if you haven't been through the Bible several times, if your life looks more like the world, if your first choice is to go to the doctor rather than to ask the Lord to heal you or to heal a family member, there's all sorts of signs and fruit that you're not really yet in the battle. You're not really in the war. You're not really an army or a soldier. You might just be a casualty right now, a pawn in the game. The pawn is the weakest and most numerous piece in chess, the pawn. Don't be a pawn. I used to have my email at the end of it that said, don't be a pawn. The battle is ferocious. If you think that Ukraine and millions of people that are dying, and if you think that the political battles we're seeing here in America are big ones, or World War II, or Iraq, or you name it, you haven't seen nothing yet. When you get to see the battle in the spirit that is going on for the hearts and mind, for the souls of men, whether in this life or in the next, you're going to realize that World War IV and World War III and whatever wars we end up having, they all pale in comparison to the battle for hearts and souls.
You're the one the angels cry out to. You're the one the elders cast their crowns before. You're the one the angels cry